pregnant. And a lot of people had questions, man. How did this happen? We actually haven't heard anything about a surrogate or anything like that. The announcement was just Brittney Griner and Cheryl are expecting. Now, we all know, guys, that two women cannot conceive a child. I mean, that's just a biological fact. But with Brittney Griner in the midst, people are actually speculating, hey, this probably really could have happened.
For years, online rumors have circulated claiming that WNBA star Brittney Griner is secretly a man. These claims are false. Griner is a cisgender woman who was assigned female at birth and has publicly identified as a woman throughout her entire life and career. No medical, legal, or biological evidence supports the rumors, which researchers describe as a recurring pattern of misinformation rather than a genuine open question.
Griner in the midst, people are actually speculating, hey, this probably really could have happened because a lot of people believe that Brittney Griner is not a female. A lot of people believe that Brittney Griner is the first male to play in the WNBA. Now, when you actually see Brittney Griner actually try to dunk, you're going to be like, oh, okay, Brittney Griner is a female. But still, we got questions, guys. Well, Cheryl Griner actually gave birth. And you guys are going to be
The theory tends to resurface every few months, often triggered by something as ordinary as the sound of her voice, her height, her muscular build, or her closeness with her wife Cheryl Griner. When the couple announced the birth of their son in July, speculation flared again, with some online commentators pointing to the absence of a public surrogacy announcement as supposed proof of foul play, and to Griner's preference for being called Pops rather than Mom as supposed confirmation. In reality, many parents in same-sex relationships choose nicknames that reflect their own comfort rather than traditional gender labels, and it says nothing about a person's biological sex.
A birth. And you guys are going to be astonished, man. In this little interview clip we're going to play, Brittney Griner pretty much has confirmed that she's a male, in my opinion. Because if you are a mother, you actually want to be called mom, mother, something like that, right? Brittney Griner wants to be called the opposite.
Historians and sociologists who study sports media note that this kind of scrutiny is not new, and it does not fall evenly across all athletes. Women athletes of color have long faced outsized questioning of their gender, rooted in historical racism that casts them as not feminine enough, too muscular, or too intimidating. Tennis champion Serena Williams faced nearly identical accusations for years, with false claims spreading online that she was born male. Griner, listed at 6 feet 8 inches, has drawn comparable treatment throughout her career, with sports coverage repeatedly using her physical size and dominance on the court as shorthand for questioning her femininity, according to media studies of her coverage dating back to her college years at Baylor.
Called the opposite. Yeah, I got some questions, man. But let's go ahead and get into this. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, become a channel member live stream every single Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. We appreciate the support. And by the way, you guys can also support us on Locals or becoming a member on blackandwhitenetwork.com, all for just $5 per month. Check the link in the description. Here we go. Brittney Griner reveals what she...
Researchers describe this pattern using the idea of terministic screens, the notion that the specific words chosen to describe an athlete shape how audiences perceive her. When a female athlete's height, strength, or voice becomes the lead story instead of her skill, it subtly separates her from conventional ideas of femininity and invites exactly the kind of speculation Griner has faced for over a decade.
Here we go. Brittney Griner reveals what she wants to be called after birth of son. Now, I don't believe we have any pictures at all. I said it before, guys, if that baby comes out looking exactly like Brittney Griner, that'll tell you everything you need to know. Says here, Brittney Griner and Cheryl announced the birth of their son on Friday, revealing that the boy was born on July 8th. Okay, so that was like,
None of the claims driving these rumors hold up under scrutiny. Griner has never made any public statement suggesting a change in gender identity, has been recognized as female by every athletic governing body she has competed under, including the NCAA, NBA, and Team USA, and has spoken openly in interviews about pregnancy, motherhood, and her family without ever addressing the rumors as anything other than false. Fact-checkers and journalists who have examined the claims consistently find no credible source behind them, tracing their spread instead to social media accounts and commentary channels that package speculation as if it were investigative reporting.
okay, so that was like almost 2 weeks ago. Doing an interview with CBS Sports, Griner shared the baby named Bash had arrived weighing 7 pounds and 8 ounces. Yeah, quote, "I guess I'll just drop that he's here," Griner said. "That's my man. He is amazing. They said as soon as you see them, everything that you thought mattered just goes out the window. That's literally what happened."
The broader concern researchers raise is less about Griner individually and more about the pattern itself. Demanding that a cisgender person prove their gender reinforces the idea that gender identity is inherently suspect and up for public debate, a burden rarely placed on athletes who fit narrower expectations of appearance. For Griner, the effect has been a career repeatedly overshadowed by rumor rather than defined by her accomplishments, which include an Olympic gold medal, a WNBA championship, and a decade as one of the league's most dominant players.
Everything that you thought mattered just goes out the window. That's literally what happened. When anchor Tarika Foster Braceby gushed over Griner becoming a mom, the 10-time WNBA All-Star playfully corrected her, sharing that she'll be called Pops. It's really playfully though. I mean, think of this, guys. What female wants to be called Pops? No female is going to be called.
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have been trading shots publicly. Commentator Jameli Hill made a big claim, stating that Angel Reese will eventually become the Michael Jordan of the WNBA by the time her career ends. That prediction has been circulating widely after Hill's comments were pulled up and read aloud.
No female is going to be called Pops. Brittney Griner in this clip, guys, instantly corrected her. Because I believe the host, the interviewer, whatever you want to call her, actually said, Mom. But guys, let's go and watch this clip, guys. This is astonishing right here. Let's play it.
There's probably one other job that you're about to get into that is really hard and really scary. You're about to be a mom. How does that feel?
Around the same period, Brittney Griner spoke out, saying she is tired of the noise surrounding NBA and WNBA games. She described the league as once being calm and low-key, but now filled with loud, screaming crowds that make it hard to focus on playing. According to her, every time her team plays, there's a wall of noise from thousands of fans, which she finds disruptive. She added that arenas used to be relaxed spaces where people could sit back, maybe even work on a laptop, but now spectators shout and put pressure on players to perform like they're just there for entertainment. She called the atmosphere toxic and mentioned seeing a father and daughter yelling something from the stands, unsure if it was about her play or something with racial undertones.
Because I got to read to, I'm going to apply for a job at First Take. I'm telling you right now, part-time, I'm coming on board helping the guys out. Can you type in Brittney Griner?
I'd bring you on.
I'd have fun with you. Brittney Griner, what she says, right there, watch this. Every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there watching on purpose. It's very disruptive. She says WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now...
Meanwhile, the WNBA has been projecting $1 billion in earnings this year, a record for the league. Interestingly, once Clark went down with an injury for 2 weeks, ticket prices for certain games dropped noticeably. Data from Yahoo Sports through TickPick showed that before her injury, the cheapest ticket for a Fever road game against Chicago was $86. and a matchup against Washington started at $41. After news broke of her being sidelined, those prices fell to $25 and $14. The question raised was why the league struggles to manage the surge of attention, both positive and negative, tied to Clark.
You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now it's like there's large gatherings of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score like we're there for their entertainment. You are. The whole thing is toxic. I saw a guy with his daughter in the crowd, both of them yelling, couldn't hear what they were saying exactly, but it was either my performance or some light racism. But here's where I'm going with this. So the WNBA says they want to get paid more. They're saying this year they're going to make $1 billion. That's what they're saying, okay?
The response to Griner's comments was blunt. Considering she was previously detained in a Russian prison and is now back home safely, complaining about noisy fans seemed like a strange priority. Fans behaving loudly is standard across every sport and arena, not something unique to the WNBA. It was also pointed out that the person exchanged for her release was a convicted arms dealer accused of plotting to kill American citizens, which made her complaints seem even more out of place given the circumstances.
For the first time ever, now that Caitlin Clark is hurt for 2 weeks, did you see ticket prices? Insane. Let me read you the ticket prices. After Caitlin Clark's been hurt for 2 weeks. All right? So let's go through this. Caitlin Clark absence is having an immediate impact beyond the court. According to data shared by Yahoo Sports via TickPick, prices for 2 specific Indiana Fever away games against the Chicago Sky.
On the Clark topic, there's been consistent commentary defending her value to the league from the start. Some resentment toward her exists, but it's framed as not really being about her personally. It's about what her rise symbolizes. Long before she...
For 2 specific Indiana Fever away games against the Chicago Sky and the Washington Mystics dropped sharply after Clark was sidelined. Before the injury, the lowest ticket available for Fever's matchup in Chicago was $86. For the game in Washington, fans needed at least $41 to get in. After the news of Clark's absence, those get-in prices fell to $25 from $86 and $14 from $41. What the hell is going on with WNBA that they cannot handle all this?
At the same time, some have defended other WNBA players by noting that this level of skill and hustle existed long before Clark, and that the frustration isn't really hatred toward her. It's about feeling overlooked despite deserving similar recognition. That kind of resentment is compared to jealousy directed at legends like Michael Jordan. The Detroit Pistons, for example, were known for physically targeting Jordan, using rough tactics to try to shut him down before he eventually broke through and won championships, growing stronger and more physical over time. Similar tension surrounded stars like Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Kobe Bryant. Resentment toward dominant figures isn't new. That friction was even described as beneficial, since it raises the intensity of competition, though the sentiment persists that some within the league seem to resist being in a booming, successful position simply because of who's driving it.
What the hell is going on with WNBA that they cannot handle all this attention that they're getting, as well as the hate and anger towards Caitlin Clark?
First things first. Respectfully, Brittney Griner was in a Russian prison. You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America, on a home...
Griner then got defended directly. She was described as young and still adjusting to the massive shift in atmosphere, since NCAA crowds, even at a program like Baylor, didn't come close to preparing her for how loud and chaotic professional arenas can get, with the added spotlight now surrounding the league. It was acknowledged that college basketball, especially at that level, does get real fan support, unlike the WNBA historically. Clark was named as the biggest box office draw the league has ever seen, though it was noted she isn't the first standout star, mentioning legends like Diana Taurasi and Lisa Leslie as respected pioneers.
Who is now free, back in America, on home soil. would not have too much to complain about, especially something like this. Fans in every sport. She described the fans.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what sport you are. It doesn't matter what sport you pick. That's how fans act in every arena. In every arena. So, and then when you...
Still, a skeptical opinion was voiced that the league overall struggles financially, calling it barely sustainable, and pointing out that attendance dropped sharply the moment Clark got hurt, arguing this signals long-term trouble. A back and forth followed about basic league trivia: who won last season's championship, who's currently the top player, how many teams exist, with the point being that most casual viewers don't actually know or care about these details, and that a manufactured controversy is being built around a story that doesn't really exist. The counter to that was simple. If the league hits $1 billion in earnings this year, that argument falls apart. But it was debated whether that figure represents profit or just overall revenue, with a rebuttal noting the growth is being fueled by rising ticket sales, merchandise, and broadcast deals, largely credited to stars like Clark.
In every arena. So, and then when you, clearly she's not remembering who they let out to get her back.
The
or
Merchant of
Soul.
Death.
The Merchant of Death. An arms dealer that wanted to kill American citizens, according to the reports. That's who they let out. Mm-hmm. For her. You would think that you would be smiling, you would be ecstatic, you would be happy, and something like...
Forecasts suggest the league's value could keep climbing globally, especially notable after roughly 25 years without turning any real profit. The counterpoint was that the league was already growing before Clark's arrival, but her presence pushed that growth into a completely different tier, and rising stars like USC's Juju Watkins, who impressed as a freshman in last year's NCAA tournament, suggest that trajectory will continue. A hypothetical came up. In a matchup between NBA All-Stars and top high school players in an ABC Nike exhibition, who would win? The prediction leaned toward high schoolers, but with a nod to the growing support women bring to the league, comparing it to how the NFL and NBA benefited once they gained more appeal among female fans. Although that comparison was challenged, with someone joking the NFL's growth actually came from adding cheerleaders, prompting pushback about losing credibility over comparing the WNBA's rise to a league that's never turned a profit.
You would be smiling, you would be ecstatic, you would be happy, and something like this wouldn't faze you at all. The fact that it does is disturbing. I'll leave it at that. When it comes to Caitlin Clark, now I've taken hits because I was calling it from day one. You got people that are resentful towards her, but not. It's really not about her, guys. It's about what she represents. Before she ever came along, there were a lot of outstanding basketball players who happened to be black.
The larger takeaway shared was an appreciation for genuine competitive tension in sports, pointing to rivalries like Jon Jones and his rivals in the UFC heavyweight division, or historic clashes like Daniel Cormier versus Jon Jones and Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor, plus Floyd Mayweather's tendency to fight around Cinco de Mayo. That kind of animosity, it was argued, makes matchups more compelling to watch, including anticipation for the next time Clark's team faces off against Reese's, since that rivalry alone elevates interest in the games.